Number one, vivid voltage. This is the first reason out of 6 that Pokemon investing let me down. Now, when vivid voltage first came out, I thought to myself, and look, I was pretty early on into the Pokemon investing journey, to be honest. I mean, we're talking all the way back in 2020. And I remember when it came out, it was vivid, hence the name, of course. It had Pikachu on the booster box. It had Pikachu Rainbow version as the main chase card. It had amazing rares, which it felt like for the first time since Gold Stars, we had Pokemon and the holo effect sort of coming out of the border when it comes to the Pokemon card, if you can remember Amazing Rare Rayquaza, for example, from Vivid Voltage. So all of these things combined, and I thought to myself, you know, we've had lackluster base set, we've had Rebel Clash, as some people call Rebel Trash, we had Darkness Ablaze, which felt like a massive flop, and then it was like, now we've got Vivid Voltage. Now we're sinking our teeth into a somewhat good set. Rainbow Pikachu, amazing rares, Pikachu on the box, a colourful booster box was sort of off pink colour, and I thought, this is the set. You know what? It massively let me down. I've had to sell off over the last few years a fair few Vivid Voltage booster boxes. I'm left with 4? I'm sure I got 4 left. 4 Vivid Voltage booster boxes and 2 Elite Trainer boxes, and that's all I've got. I can remember the Cracked Ice Holo Charizard theme deck that we all thought was going to go to the moon back then because it had Leon and Charizard inside there. And there's just so many portions of Vivid Voltage that let us down as investors if you went into it like I did. And look, what it goes to show you is sometimes you just don't know it all. And particularly when you're early on in the investing stage. And what we should have known is that Rainbow Rares weren't really all that. You know, they're not as sought after as people would think. And, you know, there needs to be some depth of chase inside there. And look, Amazing Rares felt like it gave you depth, but the pull rates were too easy. And there's a lesson in itself as well. If pull rates are too easy, it's not going to make cards expensive at all. They're pretty much the same pull rates as ace spec cards which have hit us in Scarlet and Violet era, which is like 1 to 2 a booster box. So you're going to get a fair few of them. You know, Rayquaza very quickly became an extremely cheap Pokemon card as an Amazing Rare, which it felt like it should, like Amazing Rare, it should have been something harder to pull. And maybe if it was harder to pull, then Vivid Voltage would have held a stronger price. That's the first time it's let me down. The second time is when I was buying bulk small products rather than a booster box. And here's an example, right? So when Evolving Skies came out, of course, grabbed myself a booster box. They weren't the easiest to get. They weren't as hard as what booster boxes are to get now, but they weren't the easiest. And then rather than buying more booster boxes, I went and got myself a fair few ancillary products. Like I got a few 3-pack blisters, I got sleeve boosters, I got individual booster packs. And look, all of those things have performed well. I'm not sitting here complaining, but they haven't performed as well as the booster box. When you look at the rapid growth the booster box has had, or the percentage growth the booster box has had over the last few years, it far outperforms sleeve boosters, 3-pack blister, even if you got the 3-pack blister with the Umbreon promo, and single booster packs. The booster box is far outperforming those. So that's the second time I guess it's let me down. I should have put more money into a booster box. You know, I should have trusted my gut. Rather than buying all those smaller products, is just invested into the booster box. Number 3, and I've mentioned this one before, and I've also had to fall on my sword on a couple of occasions with it, but that is main set ETB, so main set Elite Trainer boxes. Now, it's good for good sets, isn't it? You know, main set Elite Trainer boxes have proven quite strong for sets like Evolving Skies. It's proven quite strong for sets like Fusion Strike. But other than sets like that are just performing out of their skin anyway, no matter what product it is, they still haven't performed all that great. And I can remember when Brilliant Stars came out, I thought, you know what, this Elite Trainer box is so sweet. The white with the gold on there, I was like, this is a crisp looking Elite Trainer box. I think just for the fact that it's so crisp looking, plus it's plus it's Brilliant Stars, which was quite hot at the time, I was like, this is going to be a damn good investment. So rather than investing in another booster box or more booster boxes of Brilliant Stars, I grabbed a lot more of those Elite Trainer boxes. And look, they've performed okay. You know, they haven't performed as well as the booster box, but they've performed okay. Now, before we jump into number 4, I just wanted to give a shout out to today's video sponsor, which is, of course, the Collector app. I'll leave a link in the description to download it. The Collector app has gone absolutely gangbusters. The daily users on this app is massively increasing. So if you want to join the crew, please join up. You can find me down in the content creators section if you want to follow my journey and my collection. The other thing is you can sign up and be a pro user. As a pro user, there's awesome monthly giveaways. You can win yourself some massive prizes. And the big one now for investors is you can look at set analytics for all Pokemon card sets. It'll show you total set value. It'll also show you what's hot, as in what cards are selling. And it'll also show you predicted volatility of the set structure. When a set first comes out, it's quite volatile because we'll see massive price fluctuations as cards find their feet. So heaps of new features on the app. Please download it. It's an awesome app. Have a go at signing up to the pro version. You might win yourself some prizes. And that's that. Number 4. This is a tough pill to swallow, and there's a big discussion around this. I could probably do a whole video on this, but I'll try and make it pretty short and sweet, which is not risking enough. Now, there's an old saying, and I think it's a quote, that goes something along the lines of, never sleep on the idea that visits you daily, because that idea could be the one that changes your life. And I remember back in 2020 and 2021, I had this dilemma of, how deep I go into Pokemon card investing. Do I keep it simple where, I have leftover money each week from my weekly pay where I buy myself a booster box or an elite trainer box, or just an elite trainer box or a couple of booster boxes? And do I just chip away at Pokemon card investing? Or do I go in heavy when I see a good set? And that's probably where my own lack of risk has let me down. Imagine going all in, and I think about this all the time. Imagine going all in on Evolving Skies. Here in Australia, you could buy them for 195 Australian dollars a booster box, and let's just round it up to 200. In the US, you could buy them for like 120 US dollars a booster box when they first came out. They're a little bit hotter than some other sets at the time. Booster box prices were still inflated a little bit due to COVID, but you could buy them for 120 US dollars. Imagine if you'd spent even 10 grand on them. Like 10 grand is putting you very close to 100 booster boxes. And look where you'd be sitting now. You'd be sitting on like 170 grand worth of product. That's hard, isn't it? It's a hard one. It's really hard to know. Hindsight though, it's a great thing. We just don't know. But that's one thing that I feel where I've almost let myself down on that occasion. I wish I'd gone all in or trusted my gut a little bit more when I go, this is such a good Pokemon card set. The top 10 chase cards, which I use as a metric for the quality of a Pokemon card set, and I have for years, there is no better top 10 in the last 15 years for a Pokemon card set. This set has all the mechanics to go crazy. Pull rates are tough, so cards are going to hold their value as raw, and they're going to hold their value as PSA 10s, and I just didn't go in all enough. Number 5 on the list is a bit of an online stitch up, and we've all probably experienced this. It's not that I've bought a fake booster box, I haven't done that, but I have bought booster boxes that just haven't turned up. And I remember the best example of this was Fusion Strike. Reached out to an eBay seller and I said, how much inventory of Fusion Strike have you got left? These are when they were sitting around about 130 US dollars, so about 190 to 200 Australian dollars. Bought a few, bought all of his inventory that he had left, and this is when Fusion Strike was starting to go on an absolute tear, like it was just starting to rip up. And I think it went to 250 Australian dollars like that in a few days. And what do you know? My booster boxes never arrived. His account was just gone. Obviously, I got my money back, of course, but there you go. Like, sometimes Pokemon investing can catch you out. And look, that's a pretty simple equation, but there's other equations where people have been stitched up, where people have bought fake cards, people have bought fake booster boxes, and if you've jumped onto Facebook or Reddit groups, you see it all the time if you hang around those circles where people are like, is this real? People ask that all the time, is this card real? And sometimes you go, no mate, that's as fake as they come. Or is this booster box real? It's like, no mate, that's as fake as they come. So please don't get yourself caught out. And number 6, this is probably, I wouldn't say this has let me down, but it's fun in the same token, but it's also lost me a room in my house, and that is storage. Pokemon cards aren't the easiest investment to store. It's not like you can click a button and get a digital cryptocurrency. It's not like you can click a button through a brokerage fee and buy yourself $100,000 worth of shares. and take up no space other than this digital portfolio. If you go ahead and buy $100,000 worth of booster boxes, you're going to need some damn space, aren't you? Storage. And look, I've got other booster boxes stored away, but it was so fun making the display here, but essentially I've lost a room. And look, it's cool because I don't need this room at the moment. Maybe one day in the future I will, and it's cool to set it up as a bit of a studio / Pokemon room. I like it, but hey, that's probably the 6th time that Pokemon investing can be a bit tough, can't it? It does take up a lot of storage. Anyway, I'm Michael, Pokeoz. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Your support is greatly appreciated, and I'll catch everyone next time.